video is about finding a percentage of an amount, and it's just an introduction. It's to get you thinking about what we're doing next lesson. So if it doesn't all sink in straight away, don't worry. Just have a think about the concepts, and we'll focus on it again in more depth tomorrow. We're going to look at two examples, and when I talk about finding a percentage of a quantity, it's where we give you an amount and you have to find a percentage of it. So for example, if I gave you $200, can you find 50%? That's an easy one, because 50% of $200 is $100, because we're looking at half of $200. Can you find 10% of $200? Can you find 95% of $200? So that's the skill we're trying to learn today. It's a useful skill. You're going to use it a lot in your life, so it's something I want you to be able to do without a calculator if you can. So here's our example. We've got a pair of shoes that cost $130, and there's an offer. You get 10% off. So I'm going to show you two methods for dealing with this. Okay. Method one requires you to think about the fact that before I take any discount off, these shoes, as a percentage, I can write them as 100%. And that's because that's the whole amount. That's the full cost of the shoe as a whole, so we'll call that 100%. Now, if I want to take 10% off, firstly, I need to work out what is 10%. How much money is that I'm saving? So to go from 100% to 10%, we're getting smaller, we divide. What do I divide 100 by to get 10? I divide 100 by 10. If you didn't know, use your calculator and divide 100 by 10 and see what you get. So we'll do the same to the amount. So if I divide the percentage by 10, I will also divide the amount by 10. And dividing a number which ends in 0 is very easy because you just lose the 0. So now I know that 10% is $13, I can go straight to finding the cost of the jacket. Not the jacket, sorry, cost of the shoes. So the cost of the shoes, well, we'll start off with the full price, and then we'll minus the discount, which we've just calculated. The 10% is $13, so we'll minus the $13, and that gives you $117. That is method one. I want you to notice that you have found a percentage of an amount. You knew the full amount was 100%, and then you've gone and calculated 10%. So that's the skill I want you to be learning. Let's have a look at method two, slightly different, and it's my preferred method. Okay. With method two, we think about the fact that the shoes are represented by 100%. Okay. So if I'm getting a 10% discount, then I'm not paying the full 100%. What I'm paying for is just 90%. You're taking your discount off and saying, well, I'm not paying the full amount, this is really what I'm paying for. So I'm interested in finding what is 90% of the amount. So we'll go back to a very similar step from method one, which is the full amount is 100%. Then we know that 10% by dividing by 10, that's $13. And now I can go straight to, well, what is 90%? Well, to go from 10 to 90, I'm getting bigger, so I'm multiplying by 9. 10 times 9 is 90. So we'll do the same to the 13. You may use your calculator. I'm just going to show you the calculation. 3 9s are 27, so we'll carry the 2. And 9 times 1 plus 2 is 11. So we get the exact same answer. The 90% is $117. We get the same answer as method one. Be clear, because it's a word problem. So make it clear that you know that the cost of the shoes is or equals $117. We're going to have a look at another example. Before we move on, I just want to make sure you understand that you found a couple of percentages of an amount. We found the 10% of an amount, so we found 10%. We also found 90%. Once you know 10%, you can work out all kinds of amounts. You can work out 20%, 30%, 40%. Let's have a look at one more example, slightly more complicated. Okay? And this is about the cost of a jacket. I'm going to use method two because it is my preferred method, and we have to take 35% off the cost of this jacket. So method two says, let's switch to green. Method two says that if the jacket is originally 100% and you get 35% off, well, let's remove the 35%, and that means I'm really only paying for 65%. So that's what I'm going to try and work out. I'm going to work out 65%. So if I know that 100% is $155, then 10%, well, that's just dividing by 10. Okay? To divide this by 10, it doesn't end in a 0, so it's not as easy as crossing off a 0. What you can do is you move the dot, the decimal place, one place to the right. And if you're not sure where the decimal place is, it's always at the end of a whole number. So if you can't see one, it's at the end. So when we divide by 10, we move one place to the left because there's 1 0 in 10, and that gives me $15.50. Now, I'm trying to get 65%, so clearly 10% won't get me there directly. I also need 5%. If I know that 10% is $15.50, 5% is half of that, or I can just divide by 2. You can use your calculator, and if you divide that amount by 2, you're going to get $7.75. And here comes the point where we can go straight to the 65%. Okay? You need to think carefully about how will I get 65% if I have 10% and 5%. Well, 65% would be 6 lots of 10%. That will give me 60%. But then I need an extra 5%. So 6 lots of 10% is 60%. Plus the extra 5%. And then we just put in the amounts. We know that 10% is $15.50. So I want 6 lots of $15.50, and I'm going to add on the extra 5%, which is my $7.75. Will that fit? I don't think so. Sorry, girls. So we're going to add on $7.75. And when you put this full calculation, so 6 lots of $15.50 plus $7.75, you end up with your answer, which is $100.75. So it turns out that the coach, once you take off your 35%, you're only paying for 65%, which means you're really only paying $100.75. So I just draw a quick conclusion, which is cost of jacket equals $100.75. Now, to me, that second example is much more involved than the first. So I want you to take time going through it, reading the example, and making sure you understand the process by which we went from 100%, then we went to 10%, then we went to 5%, and how did I use the 10% and the 5% to make up the amount that I wanted, which is 65%. The setting out, there's really only one way I want it set out. If you choose to do this method, it will need to be clear. So please make sure you look carefully at this setting out, because I expect your solutions to read as clearly as mine. We are going to master this method in Wednesday's lesson. So I'm hoping you watch this video tonight, let it sit with you, and I will give you some more examples so you can get your head around this fully in tomorrow's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the video.